So my brother has been away from home for a few months now, and I really miss him. We've always been really close siblings, so being apart from him for so long hasn't been fun. I thought I'd draw him something. My brother and I have always had special nicknames for each other, based on Marvel characters. He would always call me Black Widow, and I would call him Hawkeye, because of how close and sibling-like those two were. So I thought, why not draw us as those characters?
Now, I don't think I've actually ever showed you guys my process for coming up with ideas for a drawing, but I thought, why not try it now? Why not show you guys the entire process of creating a drawing?
Now, the planning process of all this is probably the hardest part. I started out by looking for multiple poses just to figure out what I like best and what will work well for the drawing. I ended up trying out 2 different poses for Black Widow, and I decided that I'd be using her landing pose. So whatever pose I chose for Hawkeye had to go well with that. I realized after recording this video that I have been spelling Hawkeye wrong this entire time. I have been using Hawkeye instead of Hawkeye, which I don't know how I got that wrong. Hawkeye was probably the hardest to draw because I couldn't find many references of him. He is very much an underrated character of the MCU. I first tried a vertical pose facing his back, then I tried a pose that's a bit less vertical but still more vertical than horizontal. It was a pretty dynamic pose. I was still pretty unsure of the poses, so I decided to try one more.
Next up was my favorite part, coming up with the outfits. The outfits aren't really consistent throughout the different movies, so I just chose my favorite ones. After doing the outfits, I started experimenting to see which poses would work together and where they would go. Then I started adding more details to the individual poses just to practice a bit and to know exactly what I want.
The last part of the planning I did not record, but it was basically just an hour-long process of me trying to find the right colors and incorporating them correctly into the characters. And so after a bit of planning, I was finally able to start the drawing.
bye.